to me, it was like a big eureka when I was reading Jim Gross's handbook of emotion, and he said the first core feature of emotion has to do with when. Like, we all know this as EFT therapists, but somehow the simplicity of that, it has to do with when, right? The trigger, what triggers this cascade of emotion to unfold. And then the second core feature is that it's a multifaceted process. The multifaceted process, as you know, there's the cue, the body sensation, the meaning making, and the action tendency. I had a fellow in Core Skills a few years ago who wrote this little ditty after Core Skills. And so this is what he wrote. What is the cue? What does your body do? What does it say to you? What do you do? And then the last line, which has to do with encounters, he said, now own what's true. So I think what's so beautiful about that is that it captures everything that matters. And then now own what's true is like, now, it has two meanings. One is now own it, share it in an encounter. The other is let's move into the core emotion, right? Because in the process of emotion, the core emotion is rapidly replaced with this reactive cascade. So if it's like, uh-oh, you see a look on someone's face, you see the baby in the stroller going down the sidewalk, and it's, oh, right, immediate uh-oh. There's a whole lot that happens, is panic. I see that baby. I wish I had a baby. I'll never have a baby. I should have a baby. I'm a pathetic individual. I'll never have children. I'll die alone. So all this stuff happens. But that core panic of, am I really worth anything in this world? The core panic gets replaced with all this reactivity. And so, like I have this image of a car doors in my book, right? Each of these four elements are doorways into the core emotion. And as EFT therapists, we validate and put all these things together in a coherent whole. And we are, that's a coherent whole with a W. And we're going to watch Sue working with Travis a little bit more, the fellow we saw her working with yesterday. I like how in Sue's 2019 book, she has E for emotion, right? We evoke, engage, explore, expand, elucidate, and actively encounter emotion. And she points out that clients' relationship to emotion changes as a result of identifying the different elements. So I really hope that this is a takeaway for today from you, if it's new to you, and I know for many of you it won't be new, but the sense of emotion as this active process. It's not just a feeling, right? Because we can get kind of stuck in a cul-de-sac of trying to use feeling words. It's not just a feeling word, it's an experience. And the exciting thing about emotional experience as the agent and target of change in EFIT is that as it evolves, as people are able to get this coherent whole and feel it in a full, complete way, new action tendencies and new meanings emerge. So that's change, right? When now now I see myself differently and I see others differently. Oh, and I have motivation to behave differently. And so, and then we shape these encounters to bring this alive in Tango's Move 3 and 4, which we'll see as well. So, well, these are the elements of emotion. What we're going to do is we're going to watch about 10 minutes of Travis and Sue working with Travis, and then we're just going to watch it straight through, and then we're going to watch it again if I can find 5 volunteers who will do some action. We'll do an emotion hand dance. So Allie, I think it would work if we had when we have our 5 volunteers, everybody could turn off their video, so just those 5 people show up on the screen. Am I right about that?
Yeah, that could happen. Not sure that how we could put them. Yeah, yeah. If everybody turns off their videos, the 5 with video might be there.
Yeah, okay, so we hope so. And so typically in person, I have 2 volunteers for each element of emotion, but we don't have that many pictures on the screen, so I'm hoping this will work. But I'll be your partner, so I'll be everybody's partner. So so we're going to watch Travis, but what we're going to do is we're going to ask somebody, and you can think of whether you'll volunteer to be the danger cue, initial perception element of emotion. And that every time as we listen through the video, we'll enact that danger cue. Every time as we listen to the video, the bodily arousal comes up, we will enact the bodily arousal. So that's, and so just so you know what's coming, every time the meaning-making element comes up, we'll enact the meaning-making. And every time the action tendency element comes up, we'll enact that. So it'll either be a move toward or a shut down, but somehow this movement, because emotion is motion. And every time we hear a hint of core emotion, a core fear, we will, just sort of touch our heart or touch our gut. Some of us feel core emotion more in our chest area, and some feel it more in our gut. So we'll enact that. Let's just talk briefly, and then I'll show you a video and see if you can identify some of what we're covering in the early assessment. So first of all, the important thing is to remember that the key piece is the genuine encounter. We're not here to fix, but it's to join with, as I've been repeating to you many times. The genuine is important, right? As a human, that we're grounded in ourselves and can be genuine with our clients. And then the parts of working with process versus content, a mantra in EFT, although we have to work with the process in the content, right? So we don't push the content to the side and say, never mind that, we're going to talk about process, right? We listen to the process within the content, within the stories that the clients give us. So key pieces within there are listening to how clients regulate their emotion. And we talked about that again this morning. And your that other slide you have on that same page is this line that Sue has created, that the pattern of emotional protection becomes a constraining prison, a problem perpetuating process. So that's the problem. And you saw that exemplified with Sue and Travis just a bit ago, right? That she's following with him. The process is how, when he doesn't have a safe other to go to, he does this self-judgment and other judgment, and gets triggered so quickly by a comment from another. So so we're listening for the how they regulate emotion and the within between cycle that they are caught in. So we seek to outline the cycle of inner turmoil and interpersonal problems that are linked into a loop, right? So nobody listens to me, so I don't listen to myself, right? A client might say. Or there has never been anyone to protect or hold me, so the client focuses on taking control, staying in control, taking care of others. As a small child, a client's been ordered by her abusive mother to take care of her little sister. So she's learned not to turn to others for support. And so she carries the load of her own trauma and depression by herself as an adult, worrying more and more, feeling on edge. So her aloneness and inability to trust others feeds into her sense of being constantly flooded and abandoned. And she dismisses her pain as just simply whining, just like her mother did. So as we are listening to the process within the client's stories, we're also looking for emotional handles. So those are all things we're listening for, doors that open them into a safer exploration of the foreign, frightening, unacceptable emotional realities. And we use those handles throughout therapy to assemble and deepen inner experience. And we identify themes of emotional disorders. So we're listening for, common themes, as Barlow and Bowlby have all showed us, right? That all disorders, emotional disorders, have these common themes. So we listen for feeling lonely, unlovable, unwanted, helpless, a loss, a sense of failure, self-criticism, intense, unacceptable negative emotion that's diffuse, lacking in clarity, vigilance for threat, fear of fear itself, and avoidance strategies such as suppression or flashbacks of overwhelming experience and overall numbing. These are common themes. So we listen for these themes to tune into the client's specific experience, and we listen for triggers, right? We look for what are the triggers that push the client into this sense of danger and helplessness. And then how does their typical way of coping, responding to the trigger, block them in engaging in new experiences? So the other thing that's really important in these early sessions, although alliance building and assessment goes on throughout the process, but in the early sessions, we also want to establish specified goals for therapy. Like, what is the client's desired outcome? We know that the more the goals for therapy are explicit, concrete, realistic, and stated in a positive frame of what the client wants, rather than what they don't want. Like, I want these flashbacks to stop. Well, that's not quite a concrete, explicit goal, right? The better the goal is. And so, for example, Melissa says when she starts therapy, I want these flashbacks to my childhood to stop. I'm on guard all the time. I'm exhausted. I'm always in control, holding everybody up. But as the client and therapist work together, by the end of her second session with the therapist's help, she can be more explicit about her goals and say, like, I want to get off the wheel of worry and I want to feel safe in the world. Just to be able to formulate a goal that's positive, like there's seating attachment already. I want to stop dismissing my hurts and listen to what's really important for me. So, as I said, the more specific, concrete, realistic, and stated in a positive frame of what the client wants rather than what they don't want, the better, and the more the goal is going to be helpful in terms of moving forward.